Hello everyone, this is Stella, and before I tell you about the 10 hidden airline benefits that can transform your travel experience from stressful ordeal into dignified comfort, I need to address what you're probably thinking right now. You're thinking, Stella, airlines don't hide benefits. They're businesses. They advertise everything to get my money and charge for everything else. And you know what? You're absolutely right about one thing. Airlines do love to advertise their fancy new seats, their Wi-Fi upgrades, their extra legroom for a fee. But after 15 years working in this industry, I can tell you with complete certainty, they do not advertise everything. The most valuable benefits, the ones that can genuinely change your travel day from nightmare into pleasure, they aren't on websites, they aren't in brochures, they aren't advertised anywhere. They are discretionary services, buried protocols, assistance options hidden deep in special request menus, and sometimes they aren't written down at all. They exist in the training manuals of flight crews and in the goodwill discretion of gate agents. These are benefits airlines don't broadcast, partly because they cost time and manpower, and partly because they assume if you really need them, you'll figure out how to ask. Well, today we're done with that assumption. I'm pulling back the curtain completely. Last month at Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, Mrs. Margaret Thompson, age 72, a retired nurse flying to Portland for her granddaughter's wedding. She's the mother of the bride, has the mother of the bride dress in her carry-on, arrives at the gate feeling anxious because she has a CPAP machine in her bag and she's terrified the overhead bins will be full. She watches general boarding begin, sees bins filling up rapidly. Finally, her group gets called. She shuffles down the aisle with her bag, gets to row 28. Bins are completely packed. A flight attendant says, "Ma'am, I'm sorry. We'll need to gate check that bag." And Margaret's heart stops because her CPAP machine is in there. Her dress is in there. Everything she needs for the wedding is in that bag. She tries to explain, but boarding is chaos. People pushing behind her. The flight attendant is stressed managing the crowd. Margaret feels tears forming. She's about to miss her daughter's wedding or lose her medical equipment, and she thinks, why didn't anyone tell me I could have boarded early? Why didn't anyone explain there was a way to avoid this nightmare? She ends up gate-checking the bag, spends the entire flight in complete anxiety. The bag arrives in Portland 4 hours late. She misses the rehearsal dinner, shows up to wedding morning exhausted and upset, and what should have been a joyful mother-daughter moment started with stress and tears, all because she didn't know about one simple hidden benefit that I'm about to share with you. Today, I'm walking you through 10 practical real-world benefits available to senior travelers, but only if you know they exist, and critically, only if you know the exact words to use when requesting them. We're not talking about discounts or sales. We're talking about dignity, comfort, safety, getting the service you're actually entitled to receive. This is information that can remove 90% of travel stress, so pay close attention because your next trip depends on understanding this. The first hidden benefit is what I call stowage priority pre-boarding. Everyone knows about pre-boarding announcements. We now invite passengers needing extra time, but most seniors think this is only for people who walk slowly or use wheelchairs. Wrong. The real hidden value of pre-boarding is securing overhead bin space for critical items, medical equipment, medications that can't be checked, essential items you absolutely must keep with you. Here's how you use this benefit properly. When you arrive at the gate, don't wait for the announcement. Walk directly to the gate agent, smile warmly, and say this exact phrase, "Hello, I'm in seat 22A. I'm traveling with medical equipment in my carry-on that must stay in the cabin with me. Could you please ensure I'm able to pre-board to secure space for it?" You're not saying you're slow, you're not saying you're old, you're stating a clear medical and logistical need. 9 times out of 10 they'll say absolutely, and either board you immediately or tell you to stand by the podium. 2 weeks ago at Phoenix Sky Harbor, Mr. David Chen, age 68, flying to Seattle with his wife's insulin in a small cooler, uses this exact phrase, gets pre-boarded, secures bin space for the medical cooler. His wife's insulin stays temperature controlled for the entire flight. They arrive relaxed instead of panicked, and it cost him nothing except knowing the right words to say. The second hidden benefit is the blocked comfort seat release. Airlines hold back specific seats that don't appear available online. These are often bulkhead seats, the ones right behind the dividing wall or specific aisle seats in the front of economy. They hold these for families with bassinets, but also specifically for passengers with mobility or medical needs. The online booking system shows them as occupied or unavailable, but they're not. They're just controlled by agents. If you're tall with severe arthritis, making it painful to bend knees, if you're traveling with a leg brace, if you physically cannot fold yourself into a standard 31-inch seat, you are entitled to one of these seats if available, but you cannot book them online. You must call. Here's the exact process. After booking your ticket, call the airline reservation line and say, "I'm calling about reservation number X. I'm traveling with a physical mobility impairment, and I require a seat that can accommodate it. I see bulkhead seats are blocked online. Can you please release one for me?" Use those magic words, mobility impairment, and accommodate. Don't say, "I want more legroom." Legroom is a luxury. Accommodation is a requirement. This triggers the agent to access that special block of seats. Last week at Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson, Mrs. Helen Rodriguez, age 74, severe knee replacement recovery, calls using this exact language, gets moved from middle seat row 35 to bulkhead seat row 12, arrives in Miami able to walk normally instead of limping in pain. Her daughter picks her up and says, "Mom, you look great." Instead of rushing her to urgent care, one phone call changed everything. The third hidden benefit is the Digestible Special Meal Option. Most travelers know about special meal requests online: kosher, vegetarian, gluten-free, diabetic. But what if your issue isn't food content but the mechanics of eating it? Maybe you have tremors making it difficult to use plastic knives. Maybe you have dental issues making it impossible to chew tough chicken or crusty rolls. Maybe you're recovering from oral surgery. This is about dignity. I've seen passengers who are clearly hungry just close their meal trays and hand them back uneaten because they're embarrassed they can't cut the food. Here's the secret. The special meal list you see online is not the complete list. Airlines have other meals available, but you must call the special assistance line to request them. You can request a soft meal, which will be mashed potatoes, poached fish, cooked vegetables, or you can request a pre-cut meal. Caterers will prepare standard chicken or beef, but cut it into bite-sized pieces in the kitchen before plating. When you book, call the airline and say, "I require a soft meal due to a medical condition," or "I require a pre-cut meal due to difficulty with dexterity." They'll add a code to your reservation, and critically, when you board, discreetly confirm with the flight attendant saying, "Hi, I wanted to confirm my special meal request is on file for seat 18C. This gives us time to locate it if it got misplaced." 3 weeks ago on a flight from Chicago to Los Angeles, Mr. James Peterson, age 76, Parkinson's disease causing hand tremors, requests pre-cut meal using this method. His meal arrives already cut. He eats comfortably and dignified. No struggle, no embarrassment, no going hungry, and the flight attendants knew in advance to bring extra napkins and be attentive without being obvious. The fourth hidden benefit is the medical equipment battery and ice service protocol. Airlines must allow FAA-approved medical devices on board. That's federal law, but the websites make logistics confusing and intimidating. Here's what you need to know. For CPAP machines on long-haul flights, you can often use them at your seat. The catch is, you cannot plug into wall outlets. Those aren't medically rated. You must have battery power for 150% of flight time. So for an 8-hour flight, you need 12 hours of battery. You must also call the airline medical desk, not standard reservations, at least 48 hours advance to get approval. For medication requiring refrigeration like insulin, flight attendants cannot store your medication in galley refrigerators. Those aren't temperature controlled and it's a liability issue, but here's the workaround. While we cannot store your medication, we can service it. Bring a small collapsible cooler and several Ziploc bags. We will provide unlimited fresh ice for your entire journey. I'll come by every hour with fresh ice to keep your medication cold. 2 months ago, Mrs. Barbara Martinez, age 71, 10-hour flight to London with insulin requiring cold storage, brings small cooler, requests ice service from flight attendants. We provide fresh ice every hour for the entire flight. Her insulin stays perfectly chilled. She arrives in London healthy instead of in medical crisis, and it cost her nothing except knowing to ask. The fifth hidden benefit is the cognitive load escort service. Airports have become overwhelming cities. Terminals stretch a mile long. Signs are confusing. You might be perfectly able to walk 5 miles, but you're terrified of getting lost and missing your connection. That anxiety is real, and it destroys trips. Everyone knows about wheelchair requests, but many people don't want one because it feels like admitting frailty. Here's the secret. You can request an escort without a wheelchair. You can request a human being whose only job is meeting you at your arrival gate and walking you to your departure gate. This is a complete game changer. When you book or by calling special assistance, request ground assistance for connection. If they offer a wheelchair, say, "Thank you, but I don't need a wheelchair. I'm mobile. I'm requesting an escort to help me navigate the airport." It's often the same person who would push wheelchairs, but they'll just walk with you. Last Tuesday at Denver International, Mr. and Mrs. Robert Sullivan, both age 78, perfectly mobile but anxious about navigating massive airport during tight connection, request escort service using this method. Agent meets them at arrival gate, walks them directly to departure gate. They make their connection stress-free, arrive in San Diego relaxed instead of panicked, and their daughter says, "You both look so calm. What happened?" And they explain, "We finally learned to ask for help the right way." The sixth hidden benefit is what I call the Senior Discretion Baggage Waiver. This isn't written anywhere. No airline admits it. But it happens thousands of times daily. If your bag is slightly overweight, say 52 or 53 pounds when limit is 50, your approach to the check-in counter makes all the difference. Here's the technique. Be polite, be vulnerable, smile, and state a reason that isn't frivolous. Say something like, "I'm so sorry. I see that's a bit over. I tried my best, but I have my medications and my heating pad in there." 9 times out of 10, the agent will use their discretion and waive the fee. It's human kindness they're empowered to give. But you must trigger their empathy, not their defensiveness. Never argue, never demand, never act entitled. Just be honest and kind. 3 weeks ago at Miami International, Mrs. Dorothy Washington, age 73, bag weighs 54 pounds, uses this exact approach with the agent, smiles apologetically, explains her husband's medical supplies are packed. Agent smiles warmly, saying, "Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Have a wonderful flight." Waives the $100 fee. Dorothy saves money and dignity, all because she knew the psychological approach. The seventh hidden benefit is the quiet medical alert to flight crew. Maybe you're diabetic worried about blood sugar. Maybe you get dizzy spells. Maybe you have a heart condition, and while you're cleared to fly, you're just nervous. You want the crew to know without making a scene. Here's the technique. After boarding is complete and the plane is climbing to cruise altitude, press your call button once. When the flight attendant arrives, quietly say, "Hi, I wanted to introduce myself. I'm in 15B. I don't need anything right now, but I wanted you to know I'm diabetic, and sometimes my blood sugar drops. I'm perfectly fine and I have my medication, but I wanted you aware in case I seem off later." This is incredibly helpful. First, you've made a personal connection. I now know your face. Second, you've given critical information before there's an emergency. I'll add you to my mental checklist and walk by your seat more often. Last month, Mr. Thomas Bradley, age 74, uses this technique, tells me he's diabetic, hour after meal service. I notice him looking pale and clammy because he told me I don't have to alarm him asking, "Sir, are you okay?" I already know what's probably happening. I grab orange juice from galley, kneel by his seat, open it saying, "Here, I think you might need this." He drinks it. 5 minutes later, color returns to his face. It was discreet, professional, fast, and potentially life-saving. The eighth hidden benefit is priority rebooking during mass cancellations. When flights get canceled, everyone makes a mad dash for the service desk. The line instantly becomes 200 people long. But here's what airlines don't announce. They triage passengers during disruptions. They prioritize unaccompanied minors, passengers with disabilities, and yes, seniors. But you must declare yourself. Don't get in the back of that 200-person line. Walk to the side of the podium, Get an agent's attention, make eye contact, politely say, "Excuse me, I know you're very busy. I'm 76 years old traveling alone. I have a medical condition. I must get on the next available flight. I cannot wait in this terminal for 8 hours." You're not cutting the line. You're activating a different service protocol. 2 weeks ago, mass cancellation in Chicago due to storms. Mr. Vincent Torres, age 78, uses this exact approach. Agent immediately pulls him aside, gets him on the last seat on the last flight out that night, while 200 other passengers get rebooked for next day. He arrives home that night. Instead of sleeping on airport cot, his daughter picks him up saying, "Dad, how did you get out? Everyone else is stuck." And he explains, "I learned to speak up about my needs." The ninth hidden benefit is Interline Baggage Assistance. This is for flying on 2 different airlines. Normally this means you land, go to baggage claim, wait for your bag, haul your 50-pound suitcase across the terminal, wait an entire check-in line again, recheck your bag. It's exhausting and physically demanding. But here's the benefit. At your original check-in counter, you can request Interline Baggage Transfer. Present both tickets to the first airline agent and say, "I'm a senior traveler with a difficult connection. I'm flying on United for my next flight. Can you please check my bag through to my final destination?" Most major carriers have interline agreements allowing this, and add, "Could you please add a priority handling tag to give it the best chance of making the transfer?" It's a few extra keystrokes for the agent, but it means you just walk from one plane to the next, and your bag appears at final destination. Last week, Mrs. Patricia Collins, age 70, flying Delta, then connecting to Alaska Airlines in Seattle, uses this method at Boston check-in. Agent checks her bag all the way through to Anchorage. Patricia walks directly from Delta Gate to Alaska Gate. No baggage claim struggle. Bag arrives in Anchorage on time. She starts her cruise relaxed instead of exhausted. The 10th and final hidden benefit is complete baggage claim to curb assistance. Everyone knows you can get wheelchair to baggage claim, but most people think service ends there. Wrong. The service can continue all the way to ground transportation. When you book special assistance, be specific. Say, "I require wheelchair assistance and luggage assistance from aircraft to curb." This means the agent pushes you to carousel, waits with you, helps identify your bag, lifts bag off carousel, places it on your lap or cart, then pushes you and your bag all the way to taxi line, bus stop, or pickup curb where family is waiting. This one request removes that final physical barrier. You start your vacation or visit feeling relaxed and cared for, not with a pulled-back muscle from wrestling luggage. 3 days ago at San Francisco International, Mr. George Hamilton, age 75, requests this complete service. Agent meets him at aircraft door, pushes him to baggage claim, identifies his bag, lifts it off carousel, wheels him all the way to pickup curb where his son is waiting. His son says, "Dad, you look great, not even tired." And George explains, "I finally learned to ask for everything I actually need." So there you have it, 10 hidden benefits that airlines never advertise. What's the common thread? None are automatically given. They all require one action. You must ask, but you must ask the right person using the right words. It's not about being demanding or getting special treatment. It's about accessing services that let you travel with the same confidence and dignity as everyone else. Flying in your 60s, 70s, and 80s should not be an endurance sport. It should be the exciting start of adventure or joyful reunion. With these tools, I hope it can be. If this information empowered you, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for next week's video about the best and worst airports for senior accessibility. Share this with your parents, grandparents, any senior traveler who needs confidence before their next trip. What hidden benefits have you discovered in your travels? Leave a comment below. I read every single one, and build future videos based on what you want to know. Take care of yourselves. Safe travels, everyone. This is Stella.